everyone. Welcome back to Real Talk with REsimpli, where we get real about real estate, business, and everything in between. I'm your host, Sinead Jordan.
Good morning, and I'm Don Carlson. We got someone who is an absolute professional wholesaler. He is a fantastic guy who's done hundreds and hundreds of deals. He is a specialist in wholesaling and novation, so we're really looking forward to diving into stuff like that. And he's helped thousands of people on Instagram. Great page and a great mentor. So we're looking forward to diving into the brain of Ty and seeing how we can see if I can close on some novations.
Let's do it.
Ty, welcome to the podcast.
Appreciate you guys for having me, man. I'm excited.
Yeah. So fun fact about Ty, he was the very first affiliate I signed when I started at REsimpli in 2023. Since that time, we've become fabulous friends and collaborated on some great things. I've watched Ty continue to level up his game since that time, and I'm stoked to see him continue to dominate the wholesaling space and hustle he brings to everything he does. So I'm happy to have you here, brother.
Appreciate that, my friend. Thank you.
Amazing. Well, Ty, I wanted to start off with some immense value. What do you think separates the good wholesalers from the great wholesalers, just with the amount of deals that you
Yeah, so I think one of the first things that separates us is a process, having a process or some form of structure to your operation, as far as reaching out to like where you're getting your data from, where you're getting information from, how you're managing your leads, how consistent you are with following up with your leads, how are you dispositioning, how are you selling your deals, a whole process, even to the point where how are you communicating with the title companies and the real estate attorneys to get your deals to the finish line. Because what a lot of people don't know is a lot of deals kind of fall apart at that part, but a lot of people don't talk about it as much because it's so intricate, and it's like it's a different story for each deal. So you never know what will cause a deal to kind of fall apart at the closing table or prior to the closing table. So, having a process in place is one of the things that kind of separates the people that can do it one time versus the people that can do it consistently over a period of time. Because when you have that process in place, you're actually creating a system that can be repeated, and you can kind of hire people to put in certain positions and put in certain roles to make it cookie cutter, like do the same thing over and over again. That's one thing. The next thing is just being consistent in the business. I know everybody talk about consistency and all this, like it's cliche, but it's really what it is. It's like once you focus your energy on that one thing and you're consistent at doing it every single day over and over and over again, you start building skills that you never know you had. You start learning new things that you didn't know you learned that you didn't know the day before. And you start implementing doing new things. So being consistent is going to be able to bring more opportunities to the table, so you can ultimately close those deals and be consistent, so you can create your process. Because that's like one of the first things that helped me was I started being consistent first, then I learned how to develop a process from me being consistent to see what worked, what didn't work, and then I started repeating the same process that I've created after being consistent. So those are kind of the things that set people up. And then lastly, not being afraid to talk to sellers and have conversations with homeowners, people that you don't know, not being afraid to pick up the phone and talk to a stranger, and more so not selling, but educating and understanding what their situation is. I think those are some things that kind of set good wholesalers apart from the wholesalers that do it every so often.
No, absolutely. And I mean, so much to unpack there, and we're going to get into that when we talk about like the systems, processes, more like the actionable steps. But I mean, just from title, man, like I remember my second or third deal and I'm like, all right, cool. We got it at a low price where I got the buyer lined up, dude. We're cruising, man. I'm spending the money already.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then title comes back. Oh, there's a Medicare lien for like 300,000. I'm like, this house is not worth 300,000. What are we going to do? And it's like, well, we're kind of out of luck. I mean, we can try and negotiate it down, but like, man, the government's the government. So, no, I'm super excited to talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, the processes are, it's you need to have a process, and newer wholesalers, like there's so much you don't know that you got to just get your hands dirty with it. You got to talk to people, and you got to take messy action
for sure.
Yeah, 100%. You got to get the reps in when you're first getting started, and keep those reps going as you continue in the business. But Ty, let's back up a little bit. What inspired you to get into real estate in the first place? Like, what was your why? How did all of this
Yeah,
start
so
for
for
you?
me, I got tired of going back and forth to work and clocking in and not being able to have a little bit more freedom with my time. Um, it was that and a combination of COVID at the same time, because that's around the time I got started. So during COVID, I was working with a brokerage company for a trucking logistics company, a trucking company. I was a broker, and some of the clients that I had, they started, kind of scaling back their business, started losing their businesses. Business clients that they had started, losing, stopped doing any shipping and stuff like that. So that ultimately, that trickle down effect affected me and my revenue and my income. So I started, thinking about other ways to kind of, make money without, uh, without having to do the 9 to 5 kind of thing, right? So, my whole YouTube thing, jumped on YouTube, Google YouTube, and I went down a rabbit hole and came across wholesaling. They were saying, oh, you don't need any credit, you don't need any licenses, you don't need anything, and you can make 15, 20, $30,000 on a deal in 30 days. I said, okay, that's kind of interesting. Little like, side eyeing it a little bit, but I said, let me look into this. And I saw more
Yeah,
people
if
do
it's
it.
too
Yeah,
good
I
to be
saw more
true.
people do it, more
Yeah.
people do it. And I'm like, okay, it's something here. A lot of people are doing this different, they don't know each other, coming from different backgrounds all across the world, all across the country. So I said, let me try this thing out. So ultimately I tried it out, and, I failed a few times before I got my first contract that I actually closed. And once I did it the first time, it was more so like for me, all right, let me try doing what I see. Okay, driving for dollars and bandit signs and all of this. I tried those, right? Because I saw other people doing. Let me try that, then do the cold call and try that. So I kind of did every step. And then, I took that as a win. Like, okay, I did talk to a homeowner that wanted to sell their property. Okay, so this could be a thing. Okay, well, now let me kind of work this thing out. Let me ask him some questions. Okay, understand value. Oh, I did find a homeowner that accepted my offer. Okay, now let me send him a contract. Okay, I got him under contract. Check. Okay, now I need to find me a buyer. Okay, then you run into some issues trying to find buyers because the price is too high, right? And then you have to either go back and negotiate or terminate the deal, the contract. So I went through that, and then I did it again, because if I did it once, I can do it again. So ultimately, did it again and found the one that I actually did find a buyer on, and close that deal, and it was true. So I was like, okay, if this is real, if I do it once, I can do it again and again and again and again. So that's ultimately how I got into it. And after like 7 deals, I said peace out to the job and left.
How long did it take you to get your first deal?
um 4 months, I believe. No, yeah, four
Okay,
months. 4 months, yeah, 4 months. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
4 months.
Nice.
Can you, or do you mind disclosing what you made on your first deal?
The net profit was, well, gross profit was $4,000, and then I had paid $1,000 to a real estate agent who found a buyer for their fee. So I ended up
Okay.
netting $3,000 on it. So it wasn't much, but you know, it's proof
Proof
of
of
concept,
concept.
right? So it's like, okay, I can do
Yeah.
this. I made it work. I did it. I didn't have a license. I didn't have great credit. I didn't have to use any cash up front, right? I didn't have experience. I was just doing the thing, and it happened. And I made money from it, which was equivalent to like one of my checks at work. I'm like, okay, I can do this, and I know
Yeah.
that's not what the average size of the deal is going to be. That's just like my fee for learning, right? Like, okay, I learned how to do it. $3,000 in the pocket, cool. Boom. Now let me do it again. Let me reinvest this money into it. Let me hire somebody. So that's when I hired a cold caller. That's why I got more data, and then that's when I kind of took that step to try to get more deals and more opportunities. And ultimately, my next deal ended up being like 7,000. The next deal after that was like 17, and then you kind of keep going.
Nice. Nice. I love it. What do you think are like some mental or emotional traits that people need to have to be successful in wholesaling? Because I mean, when you talk to sellers, you're getting told you're, getting hung up on. Like there's obviously like some mental fortitude and emotional fortitude that has to take place. What do you think those traits are that
Yeah,
make you able to do this
I think you
successfully?
can't take anything personally, right? People, you're dealing with people, right? So people have their own problem, and you're dealing with people that have problems, right? More so
Mhm.
than not. That's actually who we're looking for. We're looking for those people who have problems. But then sometimes you come across people who don't have any problems, and they tell you to f off or whatever. So you have to be able to not take that personally and move on, right? Laugh about it. For me, I laugh about it. Sometimes I throw them a little jab back myself, right? Make light of the situation and kind of move forward. So you got to have tough skin. You can't allow all that stuff to block your main focus or the main goal. Like the main goal is not to get this one particular homeowner. The main goal is to get that one particular homeowner that's interested in your services, that needs your help, that is willing to work with you. And if that person that you're talking to that told you to F off is not the one, then you have to move forward. So one of the traits is you have to be thick skinned, tough skinned. You have to not take it personally and kind of move forward, especially when it comes to having conversations with homeowners. Um, Another thing is, you have to be kind of detail oriented. Honestly, you really do have to be detail oriented. You have to be able to listen and understand what these people needs are based off of the questions that you're asking, and be able to, relate to them a little bit because you've dealt with other homeowners in that scenario. Or even if you haven't dealt with other homeowners in that scenario, you have empathy for their situation. You understand their situation. You understand what value that you can bring to them. So you have to be able to listen to what their needs are and be able to provide that value that they're looking for to help them in their situation. Ultimately, I take the stance of really trying to help people for a fee. Obviously, you got to get paid to help somebody, but if you have the mentality like, okay, I see somebody in a situation that needs some assistance, because you only make money from being able to provide value to people. So if you're able to provide value to this
Absolutely.
homeowner because their situation isn't ideal, then that's when you're going to really make money. So, come with the mindset of really trying to intentionally help people. And when you have that mentality of helping, the money is going to come. It's about you trying to figure out the solution to help them, right? And if you're invested in really trying to help them, then your head is going to start spinning wheels on, okay, how can I provide value? How can I solve this person's problem? How can I help this person in this situation? And then if you're able to do that, then that's when you're going to be able to make the money, which got me into other exit strategies. you know?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. So not only do you wholesale though, you recently got into this whole little
Yeah,
roofing
a little bit. Yeah.
business, like
Mm.
side deal. What prompted you to like put even more on your plate? Like, and just,
Yeah.
I mean, I swear every time I see you on Instagram or whatever, I'm like, oh my God, he's doing something else. He's doing something else. He's doing something else. Like Jesus, like you're just like out there
Yeah.
hustling. What's the motivation for
Well,
all of
so one
that?
of my buddies, he owns a roofing company, and all his marketing is referral based. So he'll do a roof, and then somebody refer business to him from that, right? So I was like, okay, how can I help him, right? Because it's just him doing it, and he has a crew of guys that works, for him and do the job or whatever. But like, how can I provide more value to him, right? Outside of what he's already doing. So I said, okay, well, I'll just take the processes that I do for wholesaling, which is reaching out to homeowners. I have the software where I can grab a whole neighborhood of homeowners in the neighborhood, get their phone numbers, and market to them like I was, trying to buy their house. Well, how about I do the same thing and offer if we can do their roof, right? So did that. I tried it out in my neighborhood. I said, you know what, I'm gonna just try it. Pulled the list. It was probably like 250 houses here. Pulled the list. Skip Tracer got their numbers, sent them text messages, and like 4 people responded back. And I said, okay, cool. Boom, here we go. I gave him the leads, and then he kind of showed me what he does, and I'm like, all right, why not?
That's
Why not?
amazing. That's amazing. I love that. Um, Beyond financial
Mm,
success, what kind of legacy are you hoping to build with what you do? Either, and that could be like personally for your family, your team, your clients, like beyond the financial freedom, like what's the legacy you're hoping to
Pretty
build?
much like you have to work for whatever you want. Like nothing is gonna get handed to you. So just the mentality of putting in the work, right? Even if when I get to the point and I leave whatever I leave behind to my people, right? Um, if they don't understand how to work, then that's gonna be for naught, right? Because there's situations, scenarios when you leave things to people, they don't know what to do with it,
Yep.
and they end up losing all that hard work that I put them in position to have, right? So being able to teach them hard work and how to handle estates and all these different things and how to actually work towards things, because nowadays we're in the era where a lot of people don't like to work for real, right? I mean, think
Quit.
about
Yeah,
it. I
ain't
mean,
that the
hell,
truth?
we don't like to work, honestly.
Yeah.
Just being frank, we don't like to work. We have to, but we have that in us that we know what we need to do to get things done, to do what we enjoy doing, right? For what our goals are. So we
Absolutely.
have that fire in us where some days we don't feel like working, but we still turn on the fire anyway, right? We can get to it. But you have other people that they don't have that fire in them. Like I have friends that, just people around me that I try to instill my hard work in them by showing them what I'm doing, right? I'm always doing something. Like you said, you're doing roofing, you're doing this, you're doing that. Yeah, I'm trying to show people that you have to go get it. It's nothing gonna be handed to you. So that's probably like the main thing I want to leave behind outside of anything that's like, physical, monetary, or anything like that. It's just the mentality of hard work. And all right, Ty showed us how to do this because I saw him working towards it.
I love that. I absolutely love that. What do you think are some of the biggest mistakes that you made when you first got started, and what has that
Yeah.
taught you?
So one of the biggest mistakes I made was getting. So I started doing flipping a little bit in 2022, 2023, and I took on more than what I can handle at the time. So I had a business partner at the time, and we got so addicted to flipping because the first flip that we did was such a big deal, and we didn't lose any money on it, and it was great. It's like one of those things, like okay, because you have certain people, right? When you first get into something, it turns out bad, and then you don't want to do it anymore. Our situation was we got into it, it turned out great, so we did more, 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 and then when we did more, 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 there was a couple of deals that we took on that didn't make sense, and we end up losing a lot of money on, a ton of money on. So, I would just say biting off more than what I can chew was like one of the things that kind of one of the big mistakes that I made in this whole real estate experience that I've had over the past 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, you hear that a lot for sure. People get that little, glimpse of success or whatnot, and then it's like they
Yeah,
scale too fast, too
a
big.
hundred percent,
Yeah,
a hundred
yeah,
percent.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah. And wholesaling, like it's a great like introduction into real estate investing, because it's like at the end of the day, if you find and have the deal, like you control a lot of the deal
Hmm.
cycle. And then but the skills for wholesaling versus flipping, they are quite different. Now flips you can hit, uh, I mean, I've seen people hit like 100K assignment fees depending on your market, but like more than not, for flips, the pull is so much bigger. So and you, like, the contractor does the work, like you get the deal and then you like manage it. So there is that desire to like do more of those because it's technically like less work, but there is a lot more risk with
A
flipping too,
hundred
because if
percent.
you dude, if it doesn't sell, like, what are you gonna do? Like, I have two hotels right now that we're pivoting into like rent by the rooms, but that took like 6-7 months to figure out, like after not selling. So
Right.
it's
Yeah, we
like,
say we got to do
um,
something.
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. But no, that's great, man. Shanae, did you have anything else for that
No,
segment?
let's
Sweet.
keep going.
Yeah, no, I love that you were talking in the very beginning. We were talking about like how deals can be ruined. I think title companies can absolutely make or break a deal. Like, I was scrolling on your Instagram the other day and saw one of those posts about it. Um, like, have you had this? Obviously, you've had it happen to you before, but like, how did you work through that situation where a title company almost blew up a deal?
Well, I think a lot of times the title company blows up deals due to lack of communication on their end. A lot of times they may have multiple people handling the file, and somebody, it might slip through the cracks just off of volume, right? Because they may have a lot of volume or something like that. So a lot of times it's just a matter of you being a wholesaler or you being an investor, being very intentional and and persistent and consistent with these title companies to ensure like everything is going as it should go, and doing it on time and before the day of closing, right? You want to make sure, like, literally my process is when I send them a file, all right, I'm giving them 2 days and I'm reaching back out to say, hey, did the buyer submit the earnest money? So I'm on them immediately. Did the buyer submit the earnest money? Okay, if not, why not? Have you communicated with the buyer? Okay, if they haven't communicated with the buyer, then I'm going to communicate with the buyer to make sure that the buyer submitted the earnest money. That part of it. The following week, hey, did you reach out to the seller to complete the seller information sheet? No, you haven't. Okay, well, send me the seller information sheet. I'll send it over to the seller to get it completed and send it back to you, right? The following week after that, any update on title? Has the title came back? So every single week, I'm communicating with the title company to make sure that they stand on track because I've learned previously, if you just let it go, then you reaching out for a settlement statement 2 days before closing. They say, oh, we haven't gotten the seller's information sheet yet. Well, I didn't know that.
What? That's like day
Right.
two.
Like I didn't know that. Why you didn't tell me this? And that was due to, my negligence of not being persistent and following up with them and having a process in place for that. So, just being on top of them every single week is going to alleviate and eliminate all of those issues or title issues that, that come about because it's easier to find the issue earlier than it is to find it a day before closing. Now you got to tell the
Oh
homeowner
yeah.
like, hey, we can't close tomorrow because the title company XYZ and the seller is counting on you to choose the right title company to get this deal. It's all on you. So you got to make sure you do the right job.
Absolutely, you're almost like quarterbacking the whole
A
thing.
Yeah.
thousand
Like you gotta
percent.
you gotta tell the wide receiver what to do, the running back, the blockers. Like, man, you're in control of your deal at the end of the day, so you have to take ownership of it. I mean, so many times I've seen newer wholesalers just shoot it over to title and spray and pray, baby. Just
No.
oh, I hope it closes. Like, no, you gotta take charge. No, I think that's some great tips. And do you work with the same title company over and over again, or are you in some situations where you do have to go with one you haven't worked with
Yeah, so
before, maybe?
ideally I would prefer to work with the title companies that I'm familiar with, because they know who I am. They understand, even if I'm doing, whether I'm doing a wholesale deal or a novation deal, like they know exactly what to do when it comes to that. Whenever I'm submitting a deal, they know how to do it. Um, and there are scenarios and cases where I use a different title company because the buyer preferred it. It's just depends on the scenario. A lot of times it's just me trying to use my preferred title company because that's who I know can get the deal done. They communicate well. They're efficient. They can get things done faster or whatever the case may be. There's reasons why I like this particular title company versus just some random one I haven't worked with before. But usually it's like, when I use a different one, it's because the buyer preferred it or because it's closer to the seller or something along that effect. But, that's usually why.
For sure. No, that's some great advice. And I wanna get into your process, but I wanna kind of stair step it a little bit. So I see you do novations as
Hmm.
well as wholesales. Can you I mean, I know what a novation is, but I would love to hear your take on it and what your novation process looks like, and then we'll go into how you sell a seller on it, and then breaking it into your overall
Yeah.
process.
So for me, I keep novation simple. The process of novation is basically, hey, I don't have a license. I'm just going to list it on the market for you. And then we're going to switch the buyer at the end. At first, I'm going to be the end buyer. And then once we find that retail end buyer after we list it on the market or that cash buyer, whoever it may be, there's a document that's going to switch the owners. That's pretty much what it's going to be. That's going to switch the buyer, essentially. So I keep it pretty simple like that. So my process for that,
Yeah.
as far as like selling it to or presenting that option to a homeowner is, hey, I'm giving you three options, three offers, right? Three offers. My first offer is going to be a cash offer. That's going to be the lowest offer to get it gone quickest, 2 weeks, quickly, as is set XYZ. My next offer is going to be a creative option. It may be subject to or creative finance if they're open to it. A lot of times they're not going to be open to it, depending on the type of seller or the seller profile. And the last option is going to be the novation option for us to list it. I don't call it novation to the seller. I just say, hey, we can list this property on market for you, and we'll do the same things as a cash offer. We'll cover all closing costs, real estate commissions, blah, blah, blah. But this option, you'll be able to get a little bit more money, but it's going to take you a little bit more time because we have to put it on the market. We're going to show it to potential buyers, and it's going to take a little bit more time, but it's going to get you 30, 40,000 more than you would if it was a cash offer. So identify, that's going to let you identify, help you identify what's important to them. Is it going to be money or is it time? So based off of that, I'll let them determine what they want to do. And if they say, hey, we'll list it, that's fine. And I just give them a net number. If the net number is, I say, hey, if you want to do a cash offer, it's going to be 100,000. If you want to do a novation offer, it's going to be 150,000 net, and we cover everything else. And then if you want to do a creative option, let me know, and then we can talk a little bit more about the details in terms of that, because I obviously have to know if they have a mortgage or not and all these different factors to do the creative option. So I just kind of present it out there without any numbers and see if they be open to that. And that's pretty much how I do my novations.
What is the difference? Like, why would somebody list it on the market like through a novation like with you versus like just going through like a traditional agent or something like that? What would be like your objection handling?
Yeah, so for me, I'll tell them, like, for example, I say this number that I'm giving you right now, 150,000. That's going to be what you net and what you walk away with regardless, okay? No matter what. Now, if you were to list it traditionally with a real estate agent, you know how your AC unit is outdated and need to be replaced. You know how your roof is outdated and might need to be replaced. You know how you got some mold downstairs in that basement. 10 times out of 10, that real estate agent is going to say, hey, Don, you're going to have to reduce your price by 10,000, 5,000, 7,000. We're going to call that concessions, right? The buyer is going to want concessions for these costs and these fees, right? To update this, that, and the third. By listing it with me, I eat those costs for you because I've already calculated those costs into my fee and what your net is going to be, essentially. So that's ultimately how I do it. So if somebody says, well, the AC unit needs to be replaced, I already looked and see like the AC is outdated. I'm going to go ahead and account for that in my calculator. Okay, AC unit probably going to be about $5,000, right? So if the buyer does say, hey, we need the concession for the AC unit, then I can negotiate with the buyer and say, now I have like a $5,000 buffer for the AC unit, but that seller still gets their net amount. If they go with a real estate agent and the buyer asks for that concession, that's going to affect their net amount. So that's kind of how I set it and sell it and present it to the sellers when it comes to that.
For sure. It's almost like a concierge model. It's like, because you have that guaranteed number, but also someone else to like help work through especially if the house is not in perfect condition. Like if there are like the mold in the basement and like going through that laundry list of things. Yeah, it's just, it's a great alternative once you break it down, because an agent at the end of the day will just list it and just like,
that's it.
Oh, they're just pushing contracts. They're like, they said they want this fixed. What are you gonna do? It's like, well, help me through this, bro. Like, I'm paying you 6%. Yeah, and Ty, so wholesaling is illegal. It's not illegal, but in some states. But again, we're seeing more and more regulation come out. My market's Cincinnati, Ohio. I think we just had some sort of wholesaling law. I haven't dove into it a whole lot. I'm sure there's some workarounds for it. But what would be like your advice for like newer people, like how to navigate? Because your market's Atlanta, and there is some regulation around that. Like, how do you navigate that, and maybe what are some best practices, like whether you have regulation or not, just to keep your nose squeaky clean?
Yeah, I love this. It's a great question, because I think as we progress on into the years ahead, that we're going to see more regulation being implemented, as we've been seeing over the past 4 years, right? Across multiple markets, multiple cities, multiple states. And I really had a thought with this on one of my recent deals that I closed, because I was dealing with a closing attorney, and with trying to do this novation stuff that he wasn't familiar with. Anyway, there's another story. But besides the point, I had a conversation with him about that, and ultimately he was saying wholesalers aren't protected, really, right? When it comes to doing deals, like a real estate attorney can't really protect the wholesaler until after the transaction is done, and even after the transaction is done, it's not like you have any protection for real. So to kind of prepare for that, and the reason why a lot of this regulation is getting into place is because wholesaling in general is just not regulated at all. So, the board of realtors or whoever it is trying to put things, trying to wrap around the recklessness, or, the malpractices, I should say, of wholesaling, because there is a lot of wholesale malpractice that goes on from people that aren't experienced, that doesn't do business the right way. And I think the best way to kind of plan for that is to get licensed, man, or get somebody on your team that has a
Mhm.
license. That's one way to plan for it, because if you have your license, you'll be able to buy and sell real estate all day long. Another strategy you can do is, double closing, right? Nobody says you can't actually buy the property and sell the property in 5 minutes, right, to an
Mhm.
end buyer. It's essentially an assignment fee, but it's just a different way of doing it, right? It's a double close.
Yeah.
It's two separate transactions instead of one being an assignment on it. So you can do that to kind of mitigate it, to
Yeah,
assist.
and there's transactional funding too.
Yeah.
Like if someone doesn't have the money to like close on $100,000 deal, like you can borrow
Yeah, you
against
can
it.
borrow it. Shoot, even ask the attorney. The attorney might lend it to you under a different LLC. Who knows?
Yeah,
Right? So,
yep. My title company does that
yeah,
too. He's got a little fund
I'm
going.
telling you. Yeah, so transactional funding, you can get the money to buy it and then double close on the deal then. And then also like jumping into other exit strategies, right? Creative finance, subject to, like, you can all day pick up properties and creatively, and doing those methods. So I think being a little bit more creative, as far as how you acquiring properties, is going to help out, and then also getting licensed in these areas that are going to kind of crack down on the wholesaling if you've already seen that kind of implement around you. So I think those are some things that you can do to kind of continue on to do business.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, that's great advice. I would love to hear your process from kind of it does we don't have to get super far in the
Hmm.
weeds, but like I would love an overview and then we can like dive into some specific things with it. Kind of like marketing to acquisitions to
Yeah, yeah,
deal.
for sure. So, um, as of right now, my process is pretty simple. I focus on ultimately two seller types. That's probate and pre foreclosures primarily. So I'm grabbing my and the reason why is a lot of people who inherit properties, they usually sell them because they don't know what to do with them, or they don't want to deal with them, or whatever the case may be. They inherit it from a relative that passed away. They like, okay, I don't want to deal with it. I'd rather get the money from it and do what I need to do from that. So a lot of I focus on that, and then obviously pre foreclosures. Those are probably the most highest motivated seller you can get at this point in time. They're getting ready to lose their house in the next couple weeks or next couple months or whatever the case may be. They need to do something about it. And a lot of times they don't want that foreclosure on their record or their credit, so they're going to try to sell it or do whatever they can to get rid of the house or whatever the case, to prevent that from happening. So those are the two seller types that I focus on. I grab the data from public sources. Like, I'll go on to foreclosing attorney websites, and a lot of times of these foreclosing attorney websites, they have listings of all the foreclosures in certain whatever states that they're managing. Now, you have some foreclosing attorneys that don't have the listing of the houses or whatever that's coming up, but a lot of them, depending on who you're looking at, that's a tip for anybody watching. Go to the foreclosing attorney's website, see if they have foreclosure sales coming up for the next month or two, and then they'll have the address. All you have to do is download that information, skip trace it, and now you got the seller information right there. So I grab that data from online sources, and then I market to it. Whether I'm doing cold calling or SMS, I market to that data specifically, both methods, cold calling and SMS, because you never know what they're going to answer to.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I've learned over the past 2 weeks, I spoke to a pre-foreclosure lead, and she was saying that a lot of the people that's been reaching out to her been texting her, but when she called back, she gets AI on the phone, and she wanted to talk to a real human. So that's why I'm
Interesting.
continuously wanting to get these people on the phone and speak to them, because just like anything, if you have a problem, let's say with a provider, let's say your phone provider or your cable provider or whatever.
Like a bank
Yeah,
or
with a bang,
something.
and,
Yeah.
and
Oh man.
you got this person that's AI or a robot on the phone. It's a serious problem. You want to talk to somebody that can help you, right? So it's like press zero, press zero, press zero. I want to speak to an operator.
Customer
Yeah,
service.
because
Customer service. Customer service.
so
For the love of God,
right,
customer
right.
service.
So when you're dealing with people,
I do that all the
when you're dealing
time.
with people that's dealing with this high stress situation, they don't want to speak the most highest stress situation you can possibly have. They don't want to speak to a freaking robot. They want to speak to a real human. So that's why I implement cold calling as well, to try to get these people on the phone. So that's my process there, from data to marketing to acquisition, and management is obviously REsimpli CRM. Use that to implement, the drip campaigns, the automation, and kind of manage and follow up with the leads there. And then also with the disposition, I utilize, REsimpli for, cash buyers feature. I use that to try to find the cash buyers there. I have a list of cash buyers that I already have, but I definitely use the REsimpli as far as the SMS blast to my cash buyers and the email campaigns to my cash buyers as well. Once I get a deal, I send them all out that way and manage all my buyer dispositions through there. And then transactions is, just simply, putting task on every lead and making sure when I move it to the transaction section that everything is in flow and rhythm as far as how it's supposed to go and what phase that lead is in.
Amazing.
I have a
Yeah, go
question
ahead.
Sure.
for you. Since you since you are talking about pre-foreclosure, I've heard that, I mean, obviously you would think that they are the most motivated because they're getting ready to lose their freaking home, right? But I've also heard from a lot of folks that deal with the same type of list that they are some of the most delusional sellers
The
out
most.
there. Can you unpack that a
Yeah,
little
so
bit?
I deal with them a lot, right? And a lot of times they feel like their houses can't get taken, like their houses won't get sold on auction at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, the first Tuesday of the month. And it's a hard reality to try to. And a lot of times is when I'm talking to them and having this conversation is and letting them know, like when I speak to these pre-foreclosure leads, I'm coming with the intent of helping first, right? It's always going to be help.
Mhm.
So it's like most people who are going through pre-foreclosure, they want to keep their home. Like 85, 90% of the people, they want to keep their home. Nobody wants to lose their home, right? So I'm going through all the methods like, okay, well, let me ask you, Shanae, what have you done so far? What steps have you taken so far to keep the home? I want to know what you've did. What have you been doing? Do you have the money to reinstate the loan? No, you don't. Have you reached out to someone to get a personal loan that you can use to fund the reinstatement? No, you haven't. Okay. Well, that's if one way to keep the house is reinstating the loan. That's the quickest way. All right. You want to do that? Next thing, have you spoken to your lender? Have you had a conversation with your lender about either doing a loan modification or a repayment plan? If you haven't, please get on the phone right now and have a conversation with them. As you can see, the way that I'm coming right now is not me trying to buy the house from you. It's trying to help you,
Right.
right? And I'll tell them this all the time. Please get on the phone and have a conversation with your lender. I would call them today and see what they can do to help you. If not, okay, well, honestly, this is what we're gonna have to do. Reality has to sit. We need to have a conversation about possibly selling this house, avoiding the foreclosure, getting as much equity out of the house as possible so you can move on and do the next thing. I don't want you to go into a situation where the next 7 years you can't get another house, you can't get an apartment, you can't get a car. 7 years of that, all because you want to keep this house. If you got this house once, you can get another one again and make that one your forever home by getting out of the situation. All these phone calls that you're getting, all this and that, all these text messages that you're getting, all these notices, let's clear all of that and let's move forward and start fresh. You need a fresh start. So basically, it's trying to strike that emotional chord because a lot of sellers are emotional, right? They're dealing with high stress. So you have to kind of, have empathy with them and kind of reason with them and be realistic.
That's actually, I want to pause for a second. That's actually a really good emotion, not a string to pull like in a card to play, but like that is a very real thing. Like if someone is in pre-foreclosure, man, they're getting hit up by every wholesaler because they're on everyone else's list too.
Yep.
Guys. But they're also getting multiple calls from the bank, debt collection services. The odds of them having other financial issues elsewhere, like with credit cards or something else like that can cause somebody to just bury their head in the sand, especially if they haven't experienced big stresses like that before. So Ty, that's a great piece of advice too, like talking and like relating somehow with that. Like if you've ever been in a financial situation before,
we all have
been there. Yeah. Like, dude, it's
it's life. It's just what we all go through, right? As humans, like just being a human, talking to a human and being human with somebody and, kind of getting on that same level with them to let them know like, hey, I've spoken to people like you before. I've been, I may have not necessarily been in the same exact situation as you before, but I can empathize with what you're going through. And we just have to make the best decision for you and your family. What's going to be better for you? You lose the house to auction where somebody's going to be knocking on your door in 2 weeks saying, hey, this is my house, get out now. And now you really got to find something to do, and there's nothing you can do about it. And now you have this foreclosure on your record for 7 years. Now you can't get another house that easily. Now you can't, can't get an apartment because they're checking your credit for all this and that. Or does it make sense for you to say, hey, let me take as much money out of this property as I can. Let me just dump this and start fresh. And now I don't have to deal with that. I can pay off who I need to pay off, and I can move forward. What option makes the most sense to you? And that's basically the conversation that you have to have with these people. And a lot of times they like, okay, it makes sense. But then sometimes some people is a lost cause.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. And that's the difference. You're not just building rapport, but you're also building trust with the seller.
1000%.
And then also like
Mhm.
having the ability to do what you say you're going to do. Like that's very important too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
You have
like
to perform.
even just getting to that point. Like that's so important, and that's huge, man. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
And even like taking it a little bit further back to like the AI stuff. I think AI is fantastic. We're in a spot in time where it can help like solopreneurs or even big businesses just leverage time more.
Yep.
But like when it comes to those like very detailed, in-depth conversations, when someone needs to talk to a person like that, I don't think that's going to go away.
Right.
The belly to belly stuff, the live person on the phone, like, hey, let's Zoom if you don't believe I'm not AI.
Right.
Like, dude, for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
Ty and I were
Yeah.
you and I were talking about this last week. Yeah, like for the time, and also like just to kind of stay ahead of your competition, if your competition is having sellers who are calling in go to voicemail, like that's no good. But if they're at least able to talk to AI and AI can transfer a
Right.
call, or make sure that somebody calls back, like those are great things. But I agree with you, Dawn, that like it's never going to go away, where people aren't going to crave that human interaction at some point.
Right. That's how we're
Yeah.
in nature. We're humans. Like that's how we are. Right. We thrive.
We're connectors,
We thrive
relationships.
off of community. We thrive off of being around other humans, about being around each other. So it's like you can't really have, in the situation of high stress of pre-foreclosure, for example, a robot can't have that kind of empathy to the seller situation that a human would, right? To say the right things, to really feel like, have the seller feel like they're being heard. You know what I mean? It's totally different. But there is place for AI where it helps in that scenario where they do call. I'm on the phone with somebody else. The AI said, "Hey, Ty, he's on the line right now. He's going to call you right back or transfer you to me right immediately." So that's very important versus missing that call completely. So there's pros and cons to it all. It's just a matter of us figuring out how to best use it to best serve the people that we're planning to serve.
It's
Yeah,
just
100%.
a cog in the machine. It's a piece of the
Yeah,
puzzle.
it's a
like,
tool.
part of the whole
It's a
process.
tool. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. Kind of going into our real estate roundtable segment. Are there any new asset classes, markets, or more business verticals like roofing, real
Right.
estate adjacent? I like to say you're interested in exploring.
Yeah. So I want to get more something like land. I think next year is kind of my goal to kind of do some land. I've been looking into RV parks recently, buying some land and just clearing it out and making it an RV park. Cash flow is crazy. I've been looking into that. So like getting into different things that aren't just a house and a rental. Stuff that people don't really think much about, right? So something like that is kind of what I've been, kind of putting on my vision board for next year for sure.
RV parks are kind of like I feel like the latest craze for
all these van lifers, all these people like with housing so high, they're buying these RVs, they're living in RVs, they're living off grid, and they just need places to park them. It makes sense. Just the times that we're in, people not being able to afford a $350,000, $400,000 home. Their credit might not be bad, but they can get a $5,000 RV, or $3,000 RV or wherever it is, and they can go ahead and live where they want to live. And you charge them monthly, and boom. So it's a genius idea, and I'm like, okay, I like that.
Yeah, I actually know a wholesaler that's in titanium, and him and his wife live in an RV. Like he wholesales, but I mean, I think for some people too, like they just like that type of
Right.
lifestyle. They like being on the go. And I have a friend who her mom just did like a couple years just traveling around the country with her
Yeah.
sister in an RV. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's
What
awesome.
about things like, I don't know, like self-storage or like boring businesses? Has any of that ever interested you?
I think roofing is like a boring business. That's how I
Yeah.
got into it. Like it's one of those businesses that, like for me, I like businesses that are recession proof. That's gonna happen regardless of what happens with the economy or the politics, right? There's always gonna be storms, right? There's always gonna be weather that creates damage on roofs and stuff like that. So that business is always going to be there. So that's one thing kind of why I leaned into it a little bit, because there's always going to be opportunities for business no matter what the economy is. COVID, a lot of businesses shut down. You think roofing didn't? If there's a storm, they still putting roofs up, right? So
Sure.
I think that's one of those industries, or any industry in particular that is recession proof, that no matter what happens in the economy, what happens with politics, whatever, that is going to still be able to be a booming business.
Yeah, 100%. What trends are you seeing right now in the real estate market that excite you? Or maybe a better question, what are some trends that kind of concern you?
Well, one of the concerning things is like houses are sitting on the market a long time. um, but it's kind of like a double-edged sword, kind of, right? Because it's like, so because houses are sitting on the market so long, it's harder for these sellers to sell them. But it's at the same token, it's like there's enough buyers out here, but the buyers are being very picky on what they want, right? Because there's a good
Mhm.
amount of inventory out there for them to choose amongst. So being that there's a lot of inventory, that's more opportunities for more buyers. So it's kind of weird how that works, because it's like, yeah, you want a lot of inventory out there, but at the same token, you do want a lot of buyers out there as well to be able to get housing and be able to get this inventory. But I think just with the market as it is, it's just you know, what I do is with my novations, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'll put these properties up for less than what the other houses are up there for in the market around in the area, and I'm bringing that property prices down. And I don't have any problem with bringing the property prices down in the neighborhood. You might have a neighbor that have their house listed for 400,000. Mine is listed at 340. I get it sold. I can boom. I'm bringing that part. I don't care about it, because then by me bringing the property prices down, because the property price is already inflated as it is over the past 5-6 years, then I'm bringing it down. Then I'm able to get more people in housing, right? Get more people to be approved and apply and qualify for these loans, so they can get into this house that's really worth 340 and not 400. So yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we're like living like an actual market correction
Yeah.
right now. It's like, I mean, houses at the 2%, 3% rates. Like I still have a 3% on my house in Southern California. It's like I'm not touching that
No,
yet.
leave it
Like I
alone.
could
No
Yeah.
exactly. So and
refinance for
then like
what?
no, yeah, seriously, get a HELOC. But there's so many people in that same situation that it's like that is the actual what's bringing down the price. Now, hopefully, just for like bullish people who are like flippers, like this Powell coming uh, out of office for we hopefully should see like a rate correction too, which would kind of reinstitute some buyers back in the
Hmm.
market. But I mean, at the end of the day, like 2020, 21, 22, those were wild times, dude. It was the Wild
Yeah.
West. Like there was no houses had no business like going that high. So it's like now we're in a more of a normal
Right.
market. So the sky's not falling, chicken little,
Right.
but
Right.
like it's you got to be so good that they can't ignore you. Like um, you got to have a great product. You got to be good at what you do. It's like the half-ass like little lipstick on a pig's like the wholesales aren't selling as fast anymore unless it's at a
Yeah.
great price and
And the
get a
crazy thing
lot
about
of
all
people.
of this, it all starts with the wholesaler. The ability to get the property at the lowest price possible, get the great deal, because it all trickles down. If it
Yep.
Mhm.
like, for example, If a flipper has a property on the market right now and it's been sitting on the market for 90 days, and the price that he bought that $100,000 property for before is now the next time he buys a property, he's gonna drop that some to 60. My offer is gonna be 60,000 on this next house next time because I'm not taking this loss again. Right. So it all trickles down. You know what I mean? So it's up to the wholesaler. It starts at the beginning. How good are you at getting these properties at a decent or low enough price where it makes sense for buyers to still be able to renovate it, fix it up, list on the market, and sell in 30 days? You know?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
And
100%.
wanna throw this in there too. Like, what's great about wholesaling is if you have the deal, you're in control. Real estate's almost like high school. You'll have different like incoming investor classes, like so for buyers, like, yeah, you may have a couple investors on your list that just got taken out during during this time, but like there's new people coming in. They love the idea of real estate. They want to buy, they want their slice of the pie kind of thing. So as wholesalers, we'll always have like a rotating group of
Right.
buyers. Now you have to talk to these people. You still got to update your dispo list and try to find new buyers. So yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. That's a great observation, Ty.
So let's start kind of wrapping up a bit, and we're gonna totally go a completely different direction.
I know
here.
with you, no telling where we're going.
Out of the box. Out of
I'm
the
nervous.
box.
Let me take a
So
shot
you and I
first.
have-
I'm just- You gotta be careful with your name, man.
Real talk, baby.
Real
Yeah.
talk. Yep. There's a reason we called it that. So you and I have something in
Yeah.
common. We are both degenerate
Yes.
gamblers. What is your favorite casino game?
My favorite casino
why?
game is roulette.
Okay.
Why?
I hate
I love
roulette. I hate
The
roulette.
reason
I hate
why
roulette.
is the payouts are just so much better than any payout on any other casino game out there.
Do you
35
have
to
like
1, you can't beat that. You can't beat 35 to 1. What other game
Do you
pays
have
35 to 1 payouts?
I mean,
None.
none. Yeah, none.
So here, let me
None
break
do.
it down to you, right? So now, blackjack is your thing, right? You like blackjack and poker.
I it's all my
Yeah.
thing. Let's just be real here. Poker, blackjack, slots,
Yeah.
sports betting, like
All of that
name
is
it,
slow
somebody's
money.
probably
Roulette is
playing
fast
it.
money. You get a couple hits real quick on roulette, then you cash out and you gone. You can make $5,000 just like that.
You're not cashing
I'm
out
not.
though.
That's
You're
why
gonna,
it's the
you're
worst
not.
game in the casino.
That's why I still got a wholesale still.
Right. I'm just kidding.
Do you have like a strategy? Like, because one of my friend's moms is a roulette player, and she like is hardcore, like has her numbers and whatnot. Like, are
Yeah.
you like that, or is like
Yeah.
what's you are? What are your
7,
numbers?
11, 20. Those three numbers are right next to each other on the wheel, right? So if like 7 is between 11 and 20. So my real number is 7, right? So you want to play the numbers that's next to your number because there's going to be so many times when that ball rolls into the 11 or the 20 and not the 7, and you're going to miss out on opportunity. So whatever your favorite number is, you play the
11's actually my favorite
so
number.
you want to play 20 and 7. You want to play it. You want to play those numbers. So yeah, I play those numbers hard, and then kind of you just play the repeaters. Whatever just spins, you play the. I bet you won't roll that number again, and a lot of times they do.
Do you bet on zero?
0, double 0 every
Ever?
time. Every
You
time.
do.
Yep.
Interesting.
Insurance.
You putting it all on red or black?
I don't bet just single colors because it pays out same bet.
No.
It pays out 1 to 1. I like
Okay.
the 35 to 1 odds.
35 to
Okay.
1.
You did get into craps recently
did,
too,
and
didn't you? Or you were exploring
I did.
craps a
I didn't
little
like
bit.
it. Slow money. It takes too long. It takes too long.
I don't understand that game. That's the one game I guess and I think Keno is just freaking boring.
It's fun
but,
because it's interactive. You're actually involved in the game. Like you're actually throwing.
For
Yeah, you're
craps?
actually throwing the dice. You're
Yeah.
actually like you feel like you have some sort of control of the game when you really don't. But you have
You have
none.
none.
You know, the dice gonna do what the dice gonna do. So it's a fun game to play, but it just takes too long to make money. Unless you betting huge, you know.
Yeah, I'm still mad at you that you're not
I
coming to
know.
Vegas
I
for
know.
New Year's.
I'm mad at myself, honestly. It's
Yep,
my fault.
yep,
Should stay my ass
yep,
home.
yeah. Shouldn't have gone to
I know.
Atlantic City. Yeah, shouldn't have
Oh
gone.
my gosh.
Shouldn't
Well,
have gone.
pivoting a little bit, you have a dog, a schnauzer. Do you ever bring your dog along when you're checking out properties, or is he strictly a chief vibes officer only?
He was CVO, Chief Vibes Officer. He was just right here in my lap just a second ago. He doesn't go anywhere with me on properties. No. Mm-mm.
Smart.
I've
Dude, the
seen you.
fleas
You
and
do.
like nails and
Right. Please.
You do take him for
Oh
car
yeah,
rides.
car rides
Though.
all
I've
day
seen
long.
it.
Yeah, he loves that. Yeah, he
Yeah.
loves that.
What's it? I've never, for as long as I've known you, I've never known your dog's
Remy.
name.
Yeah.
Remy.
Yeah.
Remy.
Okay.
Little
Yeah.
chef.
Look at him. He's coming right now. What's
love
up,
it.
boy? Look at him. Yeah, my boy.
Aw.
There he is.
What up, Remy?
There he is. Does Remy run the house, or do you run the house?
Oh, he runs
Ty?
the house for sure. Oh yeah, for sure. He knows it too.
Remy's world.
Yeah.
We're just living in it.
Yeah. It's my boy though.
That's amazing.
dude.
So you also post a lot about fitness. You're big on fitness, and you're big on your fit checks too. I would consider you like honestly like a fashionista.
Oh no, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
That's why I post that stuff. I'm working on it.
What about fashion like inspires you?
I don't know. It's like, you know, that whole Deion Sanders thing. Like when you look good, you feel good, you play good type of thing. It's like, you know, when you go out somewhere, you know, just like when you get like a female, a woman, you get your hair done, you feel a certain way. A guy get a haircut, he feels a certain way. You know, you gotta dress up too. Like you gotta, you know, walk out the house with, you know, looking halfway decent, right? It make you feel good when you go out in public and stuff like that. It's just the energy that it projects off of you, right? It's the aura of what the young kids are using these days, right? So it's like, you know, when you just dress up, look a little decent, you know, you feel good, you have a better day, in my opinion.
I love it.
That comes down to like intangibles kind of thing. It's like any little advantage that you can take, like whether it's like every time I get a haircut, man, I'm just like, oh, this is different, man. I feel a little taller, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
But yeah, even like walking in.
Did you say you feel taller?
Yeah, it's a confidence thing.
Little pep in your
step. Yeah, chest out, shoulders up, you know.
Today's a good day, guys.
I mean, I guess I feel like that after I get my nails done. I hate getting my hair done. It takes forever to get my hair done. Like we're talking like a 3-4 hour process every time I get my hair done. So not a fan of getting my hair done.
When
but
it's done.
I without fail. But when it's done, I actually just got it done the week of Thanksgiving. And I guess I do agree. I don't like the process of it, but once it's done, same thing. Like I was like, oh, my hair's finally back to what I like it to be. But I without fail get my nails done every 2 weeks. I have to. Like I cannot stand it if my nails are grown out and looking shitty.
Yeah, my wife's the same. Nails are my wife's thing. Like she's like,
nails are my thing too.
What financial situation, I just need to do it for the like. It will inspire her to like.
That's great.
Again, little pep.
I mean, as a woman, I think that's important. That's like nails are like a woman's thing. You know what I mean? Like they got to be done.
They got to be done. They got to be done.
Even like translating it to like where guys, you don't need to spend money to like feel this, but even like going to the gym and like that feel after you get a good workout in, you know, it's just those little things that help you feel and perform better.
For sure.
Yeah. I love going to the gym. I'm a total gym rat. So, well, Ty, I am so glad that you took some time out of your very busy day to chat with us. It's always so good to hear your little nuggets.
Oh, so many nuggets. I just be dropping them everywhere.
Just like breadcrumbing along. And, you know, it's always great to laugh with you. So, you know, I always like catching up with you.
Same.
Absolutely.
Same.
And Ty, where can we get for the listeners? Where can they get some more of these nuggets, man?
Oh yeah, my Instagram and my YouTube channel. So you can follow me on Instagram at TYD Investor, spelled out on Instagram, and then my YouTube channel is Ty Franklin, Ty Franklin. You can follow me on YouTube. I post a lot of content there. Post a lot of content on my Instagram, so it's a lot of nuggets on there that can help you out.
Love
Yeah,
it.
100%.
Awesome.
You're such a go-giver with that kind of stuff, which I think is just so great.
Yeah.
So
I
Yeah.
love it, man. Well, Ty, again, thank you so much for being on the podcast, man. And everybody, as always, thank you for tuning in to Real Talk with REsimpli. If you enjoyed this episode, share the show with somebody who needs this. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for future episodes wherever you're listening to this.
yeah, until next time, keep it real, guys.
See ya, everybody.
See ya.
Peace.
Peace.